Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Hey, hey.
This is Helmets and Heels
On 1010XL, switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
I feel like another female name needs to be mentioned on a day like today, and that would be Debbie. Tropical storm / hurricane Debbie. Shout out.
Darn it, Debbie!
We appreciate, though, that we're not getting the brunt of it, and certainly things can pretty much resume as normal. Jaguars were able to practice inside the indoor facility at the Miller Electric Center. I did not see Logan Cook hit the ceiling, so that's good news, whereas the flex field, he used to constantly hit the ceiling when the Jaguars were practicing their special teams. But, Mia, let's start with Saturday's practice. Certainly it was a warm one for the team. It was a long practice. And I thought they got some really good work done in front of the fans. I'm not sure how many fans were actually in attendance, but I will say that it was crazy packed outside the stadium. I felt like there was almost more traffic outside than there were people inside at some points in time. But either way, I think the Jags had a really good practice. And unlike maybe today, I thought the offense looked really good on Saturday.
Yes. I heard you say to Jaguars today, Lauren, about 80% for Trevor Lawrence today. I honestly would put it probably closer to 90 today because I think the incompletions you saw were him throwing the ball away. And quite frankly, we like to see that.
That's true. Well, there's one that hit off the helmet right towards the end of a defensive player.
That was it, though. I mean, that was it. There were a couple, the pass breakups were elite plays by the defense today. That was my biggest takeaway. It wasn't so much that Trevor did not look sharp. Those first four practices, undoubtedly. There were moments where you were a little like, what are we doing here? Is there a connection between wide receiver and quarterback? Today I counted 6 pass breakups for the defense, and I know we want to talk about Saturday, but I want to get to today first before I compare and contrast the two. 6 pass breakups today, the 3 picks by Andre Sisco. This was quite simply a day in which the defense had a different edge. Saturday, yes, much more. The offense, I believe I counted. I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't have those notes in front of me. I have yesterday's notes in front of me. The last 2 days, I think I had Trevor I'll tell you what Justin Lewis had because he actually had the actual track of, he was actually tracking Trevor. He had him unofficially 54 of 65 with 10 touchdowns and 0 interceptions for the practices from Monday until Saturday of last week. And that was, of course, after the 5 picks to begin the first 4 days of training camp.
Yeah, I think that's why I give him 80% because he did also throw the interception today. But look, hey, Cisco, have a day. Yeah. By all means. Go be
Andre.
A ball hawk.
Well, and I loved it, too, because Ryan Nielsen over the weekend was just talking about how well Andre Cisco fits in his defense. And we talked about it a little bit last week, Lauren, about how his attack-style defense and going after the ball, swarming the ball, whether that's pass breakups or interceptions or just, forcing some fumbles, things like that. And I do think we've seen glimpses of that from Andre Cisco in the past, and it's really it seems like already it's bringing it out of him and pretty quickly into all of this defense being together right now.
And yeah, as far as being in the indoors, what I also told them is you can hear the defense very clearly when you're in that indoor facility. Everybody's in a more compressed area. The defense loves to talk, and I am here for it, whether it's communicating to one another or whether it's just getting super excited when one of them makes a play.
Now, they like to talk, but I was having this conversation with a couple of people on the sideline today. This is not Jalen Ramsey. This is not the 2017 Jaguars running their mouth. I actually, and this was prior to the skirmish between Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, Buster Brown, among others, which we'll get to that here in just a second. I actually was trying to list off guys who I felt were trash talkers on the defensive side of the ball, as opposed to elite defensive players who just go about their work, right? 41 has no issue making a comment or two to you, but he's largely all about his work. Trayvon Walker, all about his work. Roy Robertson Harris, all about his work. Foye Oluokun, he'll nudge you a little bit. He'll get in your grill a little bit. He'll try to swat the ball out of your hands. But other than that, he's about his work. He's not running his mouth. The only player, Lauren, that I could definitively say, oh, that's a guy who is chirping the entire play and that could agitate an offense was Jarian Jones. And that's not to say those other players don't have that dog in them, so to speak. That's just to say in terms of that talkative DB type, you really don't have that in that defensive back safety room outside of the rookie out of Florida State.
Florida State lineage.
Florida State. Yeah, I was about to say that's
exactly.
a Florida State.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely just more Jarian's personality. But I mean, when you're in that facility, as far as if you contrast the two sidelines, the defense versus the offense is basically silent, and the defense, you can just hear certainly more energy coming from it.
I don't know about that today, though. Today it was loud. I thought, yes, certainly the defense more so, but today it was loud on both sides, I think.
Yeah, and I think there is a difference between, like, there's the confidence side that people have. There's arrogance and confidence, and I think that there's a lot of arrogance on the 2017 Jags team over confidence. And these guys, more so, they're vocal, they'll chirp a little bit, but they're not the ones that are just trying to do it. Like, they do it in the moments where they feel like they have a little bit extra to say. And there is a difference between that, and I do think it's good, too. But and especially when you're inside and you're in a facility and you could hear everyone kind of talking a little bit more, because some of it is that you'll see the guys that clap in the other guy's face, and that used to be Jalen's thing, or just get in their face and actually vocally say something to them. But you can also have the defenses that more so are chirpy towards each other because they're trying to get each other, as in their own side of the ball, to make big plays or get that turnover, be in the right spot, whatever. And I think that's what we're seeing out of this defense, which I personally love.
Yeah, and when I say they're loud, I don't mean necessarily that it's a lot of trash
screaming.
talking.
Yeah,
it's just that they are definitely encouraging one another. And because there were 3 interceptions from one player today, there were some time, or I would say times where the defense just was in the right position at the right time. Daniel Thomas at one point in time certainly had a chance at an interception, and so when those types of plays happen, obviously you're going to get them all riled up.
And Mia, to your point, when it comes to some, whether Trevor's was 80% or closer to 90% of what his day looked like, and we're talking about the pass breakups and stuff like that, how well the defense has played, that's great. But he's playing 2 of the top defenses in week 1 and 2 in the NFL. So those things are going to happen, and you have to be able to score touchdowns despite guys making plays.
Certainly week 2. That's not the first time I've heard you say you believe the Dolphins are among the best defenses.
One of the better. I would say a top half, at least top 10 in my opinion. Okay. But I know they've had a lot of changes, so maybe it'll look a little bit different this season. The Browns for sure are top 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
I still think Miami has a chance to be one of the better defenses. We'll see kind of pretty quickly. But they're going against some guys. They're going against some dudes defensively those first couple weeks. And so it'll be interesting because it's a quick test of that. And it's obviously the Miami offense, too. So that's you're going to have an opponent that not only I think can be one of the better defenses, but also an offense that's very fast-paced and is going to score a lot of points.
It's funny, Mia, when we talk about it, and Taylor, when we talk about football, it's like, don't get too invested in every play at training camp because, it's just training camp. They're experimenting. And then when it comes to the preseason, Saturday night, going against the Chiefs, don't focus so much on what happens in the preseason. It's just the preseason. And then week 1 will happen. And whether the Jags win or lose, it'll be, it's just a small sample size. It's just a week 1.
We have time.
So
we heard Doug Peterson say that a couple times this morning. We have time.
Yeah, but eventually it's going to be, okay, yes, once they start playing real football, we can absolutely extract things that are going to play out for the entire season. Look, I think we got to hear from Doug Peterson, Press Taylor, Ryan Nielsen over the last few days, certainly lots of players. And I will ask you this, Mia, do you think that they're having fun? You think to this point in training, that's what I think too.
Especially, it was hilarious. And I say this with all due love and respect. The skirmish happened, and I think, honestly, the media members on the sideline were more concerned than the players on the field. Because I think, if anything, for the players on the field, and Gabe Davis echoed this after practice, that it was, a reminder of how competitive and how not good nature, because you don't assume fight and good natured are in the same train of thought. But I think it was a reminder of hey, we are getting after it. We are focused on being our best every day. And when you don't hold that standard, we hold you to that standard. And then, yes, at the end of practice, too, when they were having some fun with special teams, I think it was a reminder as well of, what?
It's also a game.
This is a game. This is very much a game.
And it is really hard work. Look, they've been through some some grueling, I should say, practices to this point. And certainly the heat plays a factor. And the fact that at this point in training camp, they're 11 days in, you're tired of going up against your teammates. Mitch Morse echoed that over the weekend as well. They're, especially in short yardage, they're ready to stop this practicing against each other and start practicing against, or at least playing against, other teams. And so certainly Saturday night, we'll see probably 2 to 3 series, I would think, for the starting offense and defense.
Yeah, Doug Peterson said this morning that he's going to hold steadfast to his plan to play the starters in some form or fashion week 1 and week 3. Week 2, not so much because of the joint practices with the Buccaneers will kind of supplement the preseason game number 2. But I know there were questions surrounding well, if Ezra Cleveland's banged up, if Cam Robinson's been limited, if Anton Harrison's in the concussion protocol, is it safe to play Trevor Lawrence? Doug Peterson all but disputed that notion this morning and said he's confident with where the starting five, quote unquote, is. I mean, for what it's worth, again, Cam is at practice. He's limited. I think that is precaution, at least from what I can see.
Yeah, he looked to me normal today.
Right. And he did take some team reps yesterday, too. Ezra Cleveland is at practice. He is not participating, but he is there. And to the point that yesterday he came out in a jersey and Spider, and I think he thought he would be practicing, at least from what I could see, his body language, let's say. And Anton Harrison, Doug Peterson said he expects to have him back Wednesday because he's going through the concussion protocol. And as we always say, it's the preseason. Do you really want to rush somebody back for preseason game number one?
Yeah,
because you want to have them for week number one.
Right. But to that point, if it's going to be, let's say, Walker Little or Cole Van Landen starting at right tackle, whoever they end up deciding, I would assume Walker Little if Anton can't play. Do you trust that starting lineup to protect Trevor? And obviously Doug does. It's just the rest of the people are just going to be on pins and needles.
Yeah, because you hope so, because we've talked about, the run it back phrase that a lot of people were saying in the offseason. I mean, earlier in the offseason, I guess. But I think it is important to also see what that line looks like, because the chances that one of those guys are going to miss time at some point this season is pretty high. And so I think that was the biggest question mark, is did they do enough on the offensive line? And if not, are some of these guys that we're hoping can develop and kind of take a step this season, does that work? And you do want to see that with your starting quarterback.
And in case you missed Jaguars today, Tony Smith did a great job of illustrating the fact that the Jaguars are not alone with this idea of, if one of your starting offensive linemen goes down, oh no, who is stepping in his place? He brought up the Lions, and I'll say the point again, and I'll belabor the point again. Here is what the second string offensive line for the Detroit Lions, the number one offensive line by almost every metric, and that starting five is certainly ferocious up there in Detroit. But here is the backup, the second stringers: Giovanni Manu, Coyote Awasika, Duke Clemens, Colby Sorsdale, Dan Skipper. Then you, of course, have great Iowa Hawkeye Ike Buttiger on the third string. You have Kingsley Igwakin, the rookie out of Florida, and Christian Mahogany, the rookie out of Boston College, third string.
They have a guy named Coyote?
K-A-Y-O-D-E. Coyote? Coyote?
Coyote would be an awesome first name.
The point is I know Ike Buttiger because he played at Iowa. I know Kingsley Igwakin because he played at Florida, but he's a rookie. I know Christian Mahogany because I enjoyed his tape during the pre-draft process. He's a rookie. And so that says to me that those other six names that are unknowns to the not untrained, but the casual Jacksonville radio host looking at the Detroit Lions and parachuting in, of course you're going to look at the Jaguars depth chart and feel the same way. You would feel that about all 32 teams in the NFL if you looked at their depth chart of their offensive line. The Jaguars are actually in the minority in which they have a starting caliber left tackle in Walker Little as the backup right now. I don't think you can go down and find multiple NFL teams that can say that.
Right, and I have faith in that. What I am not sure about is if Walker Little has to play left tackle and then they're on their fourth tackle. And I assumed at this point that it would be Javon Foster. It doesn't seem like that's where they're headed. As far as what we've been able to see at practice. And so that's where you start to get just a little nervous.
So I did get a fact check. Thank you to one of our Heeligans for texting into the personal chat line of Mia O'Brien. Coyote is how you pronounce the backup guard for the Detroit Lions.
I'm sure they've talked just as much about their defensive line in Detroit as we have here, because I think the main difference is that most people would say all five of their starters are at the top of their position group in the NFL. And so if you lose one because the play surrounding them is so good that maybe it doesn't affect things as much. And that's maybe why people don't have as much concern. But one of the few teams that I feel like can just pluck and play and constantly feel like they have no drop off is Green Bay. Somehow every single year they miss one or two offensive linemen and then their line doesn't change whatsoever.
I know what I'm about to say is going to be controversial. This is akin to me saying that Tank Bigsby is a good running back and everyone out there in Heeligan Nation loses their mind. Walker Little started 3 games in 2021. He started 7 games in 22 down the stretch of a playoff run, and he started the first 4 games of last year and was the highest graded offensive lineman. Tyler Shatley has played the 4th most games in a Jaguar uniform. Luke Fortner started for you, did not miss a game for 2 years. I understand that so many of you view those players for whatever your reason is, you view them as backups, whether that's because of the pecking order or whether that's because of your personal feelings. But those are three guys that have lots of skins on the wall. And you can't say that about a lot of backups along the offensive line in the National Football League.
All right, Mia caught up with Jaguars linebacker DeShaun Dixon over the weekend. We will let you hear from him and do a whole lot more. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update brought to you by USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. Simone Biles becomes the first U.S. gymnast with 6 gold medals. She wins the individual all-around for the second time after pulling out of the final in Tokyo.
3 years ago, I never thought I'd step foot on a gymnastics floor again just because of everything that had happened. But at the end of the day, it is crazy that I am in the conversation of greatest of all athletes because I just still think I'm Simone Biles from Spring, Texas that loves to flip.
At 27, Biles is the oldest woman to win the all-around since 1952. Suni Lee takes the bronze. In the pool, Katie Ledecky gets the silver as part of the 200-meter freestyle relay, her 13th Olympic medal, a record for American women. And 57 straight Olympic wins for the U.S. women's basketball team to lock up a spot in the quarterfinals. With this Summer Games update, I'm Brad Heller, Westwood One Sports.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 on a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not a rate based on Terry who keeps and makes the car behind them. Oh no, they're about to. Save with DriveWise and the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Now, the Florida State Seminole Report, brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team.
4 FSU players were named to the preseason All-ACC team. Offensive tackle Darius Washington and center Maurice Smith were 2 of the top 3 vote getters on the offensive line. Defensive tackle Joshua Farmer earned the most votes on the defensive line, and Alex Mastromano was the preseason All-ACC punter. The Noles will open the season on August 24th in Dublin, Ireland. I'm RJ Saunders with your Ag Pro Seminole Report.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Mia O'Brien here for my friends at Duck Duck Rooter. If water flows through it, the team at Duck Duck can install it or repair it. From septic tank pump outs, drain field installations, clog drains, water heaters to repipes, they do it all, and they do it well. But don't just take my word for it. Check out their Google reviews and see what customers just like you are saying about their experience with Duck Duck Rooter. Duck Duck Rooter, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit duckduckrooter.com to schedule service today.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
It's a Helmets and Heels Big Chief Tire Monday.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. I know that hearing another ad for Jacksonville's best promo company interrupts Jacksonville's best sports talk, but at least it isn't a political ad. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Hey there, Weekend Warriors. It's Matt Hayes. Sick of that slice? Tired of those 3 putts? What if I told you your handicap isn't about your swing, it's about your weight? Why not take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with the Waco 180? We're talking 10 strokes off by August, getting your tour card by September, winning your first major, year 1. Think about it. Fame, fortune, and most important, winning $5 off your buddy because you, sir, are closest to the pin. Taking strokes off your game is just about 40 pounds away at Awaken180weightloss.com. Awaken 180 does not guarantee an immediate 10 strokes off your score, receiving a tour card, or the ability to control the weather. Individual results may vary. Your newfound athleticism might cause jealousy among your foursome, leading to accusations of steroid use. Awaken is not responsible for defending your honor in the clubhouse. Awaken 180 cannot guarantee that your newfound golf prowess will lead to a sponsorship deal, but we can't not guarantee it either. Awaken 180 is not responsible for any dramatic fist pumps or unsolicited golf tips you give to strangers. Awaken 180 does not offer refunds for any lost wagers made on your improved golf game. Bet wisely, my friend. Strokes off your game by dropping pounds off your frame. Awaken180weightloss.com.
I'm Ben from Beard's Diamonds. My father and I buy our stones direct from the diamond cutters. No middleman, no big company overhead, no commission salespeople, and we pass the savings on to you. Before you buy anywhere else, remember, Beard's Diamonds will beat any competitor's price.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com. Fish are good at hiding. Captain Kevin can help you find them.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Thursday nights at 6.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss on 1010XL AM.
When the sun goes down, you might think a golf course shuts down, but not at the Golf Club of Southampton. Join the gang every Thursday night for trivia with Brooke and Jason, and everybody's favorite night, Friday night on the patio, featuring local musicians, food, and drink. It's all at the Golf Club of Southampton. Great golf. You've come to expect that. But don't forget, when night falls, the fun doesn't stop. Trivia every Thursday night and Southampton's live music patio session Fridays. Call 287-PLAY to make a tee time and the good time.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Don't suffer another day with cheap box store cornhole boards. Order your custom luxury boards from Mystic Cornhole Company right here in Jacks. Ask about pro-level bags, lights, score stands, and other accessories. And score with Mystic Cornhole Company.
This is David Lane. After suffering through several painful injuries to my shoulder, back, and knees, I've taken my issues to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. And without fail, they've been a tremendous help towards solving my problems. If you have any orthopedic situations, don't procrastinate. Take action today. Give those aches and pains to the pros at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. You'll be glad you did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
I've made the comment that I think Morgan Wallen is the most played artist at training camp through the first few weeks.
We do need to spend a few moments, Lauren, and review the rainy day playlist.
It was great.
That the Jacksonville Jaguars ops team puts together, because I would put it in the upper echelon of the playlist that they play at practice. However, I had a moment of panic and concern that I need to discuss.
Okay.
Hillary Duff's Come Clean came on. And of course, I'm jamming out. I'm a child of the early 2000s. I'm loving it. And then it occurred to me, Taylor Daw, how many players on the Jaguars 90-man roster actually know who Hillary Duff is and what that song
Especially
is?
from that era. That song and Lizzie McGuire, they probably have no idea about.
And it's funny you should bring up the show that is synonymous with Hillary Duff. Because we put my theory to the test, and we asked our young content associates, John O'Leary and Jacob Simmons, Yoda, if you may. We said, do you know who sings this song? And they were like, I go, Hillary Duff. And they're like, yeah, Hillary Duff. We know who she is. And then we asked them, do you know what show she was on? And it was a struggle. We had to give them the first initial. Now, mind you, one's 26, one's 20.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're in that age group where it's a little fringe. Both said they did watch Hannah Montana. So at least we got that out there in the universe. Because my Lanta, when myself and Dylan Morton of Jags PR realized that people in their 20s don't know what Lizzie McGuire is outside of she filmed a movie in Paris. So help me, Jesus. I was very, very concerned.
I was proud of Jacob on Saturday. They played Leonard Skinner's Saturday Night Special.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, do you know who sings this? And he was like, are they from Jacksonville? And I said, yes, they are. I am so proud.
He's good at his old school music because he said he's
loved it.
He said he's like, if you ask me Michael Jackson, if you give me any like old school R&B, like I can get that. But evidently, Hillary Duff. Right over their heads. And it's a sad day. It's a sad day when Come Clean plays and the majority of the audience isn't aware with how beautiful a moment 2004 was.
I had 2 Lacombe songs and a Kenny Chesney song, so I was very happy at practice with the Rainy Day playlist. And yesterday they played a lot of gospel to start practice since it was Sunday, so I appreciated that as well. All right, Mia, you caught up with Jaguars linebacker DeShaun Dixon, obviously ahead of today's practice when he had help off the field. How did he be helped off the field with a knee injury?
Yes, somebody who has flashed in training camp, but a big reason why I was so excited to speak with DeShaun. And again, our thoughts and prayers are with him, and hopefully the injury is not significant. All we know right now is that it was a knee injury, and he was helped off the field today. But part of why I wanted to speak to him at yesterday's practice was because he's such a unique story in that he makes the 53-man roster in 2022 as an undrafted free agent rookie. Then he goes through a position change, is on the practice squad last year. But as you will hear from him, I think he largely views it as I was learning a new position. I was on the practice squad. Still a little disappointed to not be on the 53, but it was accepted because of the position change. I think he will also be blown away with the weight change that he has gone through over the last 3 years. It's something that I spoke to him about, and you'll hear it, about Dwan Smoot, how he described it as snip, snap, being told you have to gain weight, now you have to lose weight, now you're a vegan. And emotionally what a toll that is. And so those two concepts, the idea of gaining, losing weight, and then also the idea of making the 53, being on the practice squad, because we've already said in our way too early 53-man projections, ladies, there are some players who have been on the 53-man roster who we have on the practice squad this year, whether that be Dixon, whether that be C.J. Beathard, if they don't keep 3 quarterbacks as a vested veteran, whether that's Tim Jones, whether that's Elijah Cooks. We've gone through that list, and we've said that what we saw from Dixon the last 2 years could happen to other players as well. So I was curious to kind of get in his mind and see what goes through that process. So here he is. Pleased to be joined with Jaguars defensive lineman DeShaun Dixon. And DeShaun, already you're getting the award for best interview of training camp. And you want to know why?
Why am I getting best award?
He brought the goods. He brought the Gatorade can, the only way to drink Gatorade. Thank you for that, sir. First and foremost, how are you? How's camp? How's the off-season been?
I'm doing well, going pretty well. How about you? How you doing?
It's good. It's good. Can't complain. Obviously in a little bit cooler weather today.
Today bless us today. So
yes. After the last 2 days of padded practices and in the summer heat. For you, I know it's been an interesting 2 years. Walk me through kind of where you entered the NFL and the Jaguars, what position you played, where you were at to where you are today.
So when I first came in, somebody just blessed with the opportunity to be here. And trying to make a name for myself, and that's still the mission goal. Still trying to make a name for myself and help this team win the Super Bowl, and that's the ultimate goal. But yeah, for me, it's been a long journey, but glad to still be here. Glad they still like me and willing to work with me and stuff like that. So I'm still glad to be here.
You make the team as an undrafted free agent rookie, which let's just begin there. That's difficult enough in and of itself. For some of these young guys that are undrafted, do you give them words of wisdom?
Yeah. So going through that journey of being undrafted, being the guy, being the practice player, and learning from the vets that's already here and stuff like that. It's telling them is never count yourself out. You know what I'm saying? And with the young guys coming in, just learn from the older guys as I did, like Josh and Trey. Even Trey, I came in with Trey. I learned a lot from him. Josh was always a mentor, and just learning from those guys and what I should do, techniques, getting your body right, stuff like that. And in special teams was just as big as defense was. So, learning the special teams, because that's where you'll start at. So, I got my shot. My rookie year, going through special teams, and got like a handful of snaps on defense. But like I said, just still learning from the older guys, and getting the reps through special teams. So
yeah, you come to Duval County as an outside linebacker, and I'm actually going to take one step a little bit closer to me just for the camera. You come to Duval County as an outside linebacker. What was the conversation heading into year 2? Why you made the position switch to more of a defensive tackle role?
So coming in outside linebacker, I was about, I say like 230 something, scratching 240. It was like the weight journey has been crazy. When I'm going into the second year, they said that they felt like I can contribute more on the interior, and so it made me gain some weight. Got up to like 260.
That's 30 pounds in how many months?
It was about 2-3 months. So it was a quick turnaround, and then just going on practice squad the second year, learning from a vet heavy group interior wise, learning from them technique stuff, because that was a whole new world for me. And then and now coming back to defensive end on the outside, I still like interior, but I feel like outside I'm more comfortable. Still put on weight, got up to like 275, 280, and then it's been good though. Like
that's what, 55 pounds in 2 years? That's insane.
This is the heaviest I've been, but I still feel good. I don't feel heavy. I'm still fast. Still got my quickness, my agility, all my stuff. So, yeah, it's just good extra weight for me.
I know it's something I talked to DeJuan Smoot about, because early in his career, and I'm sure you did as well, where he was inside, he was outside, he goes vegan, he's like cutting weight, he's losing weight. I mean, mentally, how difficult is it?
It was just eating a lot, especially in that weight gain process. It was like eating extra even when I am full, or eating or drinking like shakes right before bed and stuff like that. It's you get used to it after a while, but at first it's like, I feel full today, and it's like I gotta get this extra weight. So, but they ended up putting it on me pretty good. So yeah.
Part of why I was so excited to talk to you, number one, you flashed a couple times so far through the first 10 or so practices, but number two, that journey of you make the 53, you're on practice squad last year, but you're learning a new position. Emotionally, what is that like? Or was it one of those situations where you said, you know what, I'm okay with being on the practice squad as I learn this different position?
I mean, the goal for me, personally, was always be on the team, whether it is on 53 or practice squad. I've kind of put all my eggs in this basket, and I've come a long way, and I want to still continue to grow into the league, into this professional level. And emotionally, it is tough, going through that whole process. But I understand it. I understand what I need to work on. I understand the stuff that I need to do in order to become, in the rotation or as a starter, something like that. So, but yeah, it's definitely been a journey now.
You mentioned it. You're a defensive end now. A little inside outside. Is this kind of the culmination of the past 2 years?
Yeah, I feel like I'm very versatile and able to work inside and outside. Still learning a lot of stuff from both sides, but it's still, being able to be versatile and learning the whole defensive line position is good.
What's the biggest thing, DeShaun, you've learned from when you first got here to where you are now?
Just keep working. Just always keep working. Stay humble. Always get better 1% every day. Take what you learned from yesterday, apply it to the next day. Mess up in practice and stuff like that. Learn from it, work on it, and perfect your craft on that. So,
DeShaun, thanks so much, and best of luck the rest of training camp.
Thank you.
So, yes, a lot of insight there. Again, our thoughts are with DeShaun, who that interview was from yesterday, went down today with a knee injury. We don't know much else besides that, other than that we watched him be helped off the field. But certainly a guy that fits that Ryan Nielsen defensive scheme mold along the front. Someone who has that inside-outside versatility. The best ability is availability. Doug Marrone, of course, and we say that along the offensive line all the time. I'm not so sure we've been saying along the defensive line of late here in Duval County.
Yeah, we'll keep it on the Jaguars. Great job, Mia. When we return, continue about training camp practice on Saturday, yesterday, and today as well. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. Obviously, stay safe out there with Tropical Storm Debbie. If you need anything for your vehicle, visit BigChiefTire.com. We're back on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Mia here, and we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino? Canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. The live casino is so easy to use. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action's in the palm of your hands and you don't even need to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL. A revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. Sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win, only with MyBookie.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence, served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pit masters since '68.
Mia here, and when I was buying a new construction home last summer, there was no question. Dreamfinder's Home was the builder for me. A big reason why? Their unbeatable interest rates. Right now, take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. Find your dream home, take advantage of unbeatable rates, and move in today. I'll say it again, 2.99% year one. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Helmets and Heels.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
This state in in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 5th, 1986, Giants left-handed pitcher Steve Carlton becomes the second pitcher to reach 4,000 strikeout milestone, striking out Eric Davis.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World.
Simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Yesterday, ahead of day 10 of practice at the Miller Electric Center, offensive coordinator Press Taylor met with the media to discuss slowly building the offense, stressing the main focus to be ready to play Week 1.
You know, these guys haven't played football in 3 months, so to come out and a normal install and ask guys to run 45 yards downfield, I don't know that their bodies are ready for that. And then you start getting the soft tissue injuries that set you back throughout the course of camp. Yes, it's frustrating at times because you've got this new tool that you want to get down the field and really expose to certain things, but is that the best thing for the player, for our team, as we get going in the long run of camp? Camp is really just a ramp up to Week 1. Yes, we'd love to win every single day, including day 1, but ultimately we want to be ready to play Week 1.
Sound courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale Lighting, Fans, and Home Decor on 1010XL.
Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, RJ Southers, I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this Big Chief Tire Monday. All right, let's go back to stadium practice, the practice in the stadium, I should say, at Everbank on Saturday. And I think a big takeaway so far for me, training camp-wise, Mia, would be the fact that there has been, and we knew that it was going to be, but there has certainly been an emphasis on making sure the run game is going to be efficient. And whether it's Travis Etienne, whether it's Tank Bigsby, or a host of other backs, certainly they went ahead and signed over the weekend running back Gary Brightwell as well. That is going to be something that they are going to emphasize week in and week out, even after we're not able to watch practice anymore.
And again, it goes back to the point that we've hammered home, which is so many of you fans, and I get you are there to be entertained. You want to see the deep ball.
Right.
You want to see the highlight reel. Last year, you feel like you saw that with Calvin Ridley. You saw that with Zay Jones, and now they're not here, and now we're not doing it because we have crap players. I sound like Jeff Prosser. The reality is that this team is putting in work. This is their job. Just like at your job, there are times you identify, hey, this is an area where we were deficient a year ago. Let's try to improve upon it. That is why you see the Jaguars focusing on a slow build to a deep ball. They are focused on mastering routes that are in the short portion of the field, as Press Taylor explained yesterday. And again, they also are focused on establishing the run game and ensuring, after they took it down to the studs, their words, not mine, after they took it down to the studs, everyone is on the same page. Onboarding, communication, these are buzzwords, but they are also the reality for that team. You want to master those things before, you don't want to run before you walk.
Yeah. Well, and that is to your point, exactly what Press Taylor said yesterday was we're slowly building this offense. And I get when you have and we've talked about the certain areas where they struggled last year are things that you kind of want to focus on early. But in addition to that, we've talked about how, the kind of tearing down this run game and when it comes to, or the run offense and being able to build this into something that is successful in moments that last year were very crucial and they weren't able to be. And so, Mia, now not only are they having to kind of start over, and it's not technically players-wise, because yes, I get it, Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby were there last year, but the run game was not there last year. And so you are building that from the bottom, in addition to an offensive line that has a new center and some pieces that are back healthy that you're trying to get all of them kind of on the same page and get that cohesiveness back in. In addition, 2 of your 3 starting wide receivers are new too. So all of the levels of the offense right now are kind of starting from that spot 1. And so now we're going to start seeing these develop. And once they're comfortable in saying, okay, here's the areas in the red zone, here's the areas in the run game, all of these things have been fixed. Now we can go for these things that we are confident that they'll be okay at, with Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. both being deep threats. That obviously isn't one of their biggest concerns in this offseason so far.
RJ, I'm going to try to find the bite from Press Taylor from yesterday, because I asked him, because I assume it's got to be frustrating, especially with a talent like Brian Thomas Jr. You know what his bread and butter is, and yet because at this stage of the game you're developing, you want to walk before you run, you aren't necessarily saying, all right, here we go, highlight, 50-yard bomb. Like, that's just not in the plan at this juncture. To the run game point, Lauren, if you look at my notes from any of the past, 11 practices, you will see multiple times, and again, I know this frustrates some of you, you will see, right, great Tank run, another great ETN run times 2. You are seeing them actually hit the holes. Mm-hmm. And I may have sat here last year and said the same thing, but I don't think I said it as emphatically. Yeah. Because it is just so sure that they are finding room to run. And you can, interpret that however you want. But the fact that they are seeing daylight says to me, to your point, Taylor, that the actual operation is much more intentional from what we can see.
Since you mentioned Calvin Ridley, I want to read the tweet from Easton Freeze that I'm sure a lot of people saw over the weekend. With every passing day of watching...
Did Hacker go after him? I'm just kidding. But he did.
With every passing day of watching Calvin Ridley at Titans camp, the more confident I am the Jaguars are morons. His usage last season was a fireable offense. They painted this skill set into a very stupid box. This is a player you force the ball at every level of the field. Interesting.
So wait.
The Jags are morons.
He's saying you should force him the ball at every level of the field.
Yes, that's what he's saying.
Okay. Which is interesting because nationally, the critique of the Jaguars with Calvin Ridley has been, well, they didn't necessarily have him doing the things he's good at. They had him trying to do the things that they needed in their offense. Mm-hmm. And perhaps he was not as efficient at those responsibilities as they anticipated. But according to this writer, he can do everything.
That is what Easton is saying. And look, I understand being wowed by Calvin Ridley at training camp.
Definitely.
That was us last year. We could not wait to see him play in a regular season game because of the different highlight plays that he made. But as we've discussed, there are only a few plays when you're installing an offense. So Calvin Ridley's going to look really good because he only has to focus on a very small portion of the playbook during training camp.
And there isn't actually a game plan put in because you're not going up against anyone.
Correct. Yeah. And also how threatened are we about the Titans secondary? Because I'm interested with that too. Who is Calvin going up against? I know they have building.
Now they got Quandre Diggs.
Yes, that was just new. But obviously they saw some concern there because they added somebody and they felt like they didn't have enough in that room. So I think that's another factor to it also. But it is interesting. Those are the moments when you see we always, every season, every team has those players that flash in camp, and then you have all the expectations in the world of them. And it's not saying Calvin Ridley wasn't an absolute terrible wide receiver. He obviously hit 1,000 yards, but there were a lot of schematical issues with him, and that's things that probably just national that didn't watch on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis didn't see. So all they're seeing now are these flash plays of, oh, I'm glad he can go up and get a contested catch. Good job. Do that in a game when you're in the right spot.
And again, it goes back to our conversation from earlier here in the 12 o'clock hour regarding the offensive line. That's great that you have a dynamic player, but would you rather have 2 or 3 dynamic players or a greater sum of all the parts? Because you go back to that 2022 Jaguars team. I'm not going to say names, but there were multiple radio hosts at this very station that sat at a previous iteration of this table, and they said they got a 2, a 2, a 2, a slot, a slot, a slot. Last I checked, that trio of Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones, and Zay Jones all went over 600 yards and all proved very capable when the team needed them most and fulfilled the role that was needed in the offense.
Yeah.
Right. It was not trying to fit a square peg in a circle
Or
hole.
force things, and that's what you kind of have to do with certain players.
And the offensive line played really well in 2022 and was healthy. That is, to me, the most massive difference between last year when the Jags did not make the postseason and 2 years ago when they did, because the offensive line, A, protected Trevor, and B, the Jaguars were able to run the ball. The Jaguars don't lose 5 out of the last 6 to end the season if they had been able to run the football.
Yeah, I was on VSiN this morning, and thank you to the Hooligan who texted in about it. And I have already received lots of replies from people around the country saying, oh my goodness, defending Trevor at every turn. I went back to that buzzword of onboarding. Because, yes, you look at the Cleveland Browns who lost quarterback after quarterback. You can look at the Browns, you can look at the Texans and their offensive line. That they had to have a next man up mentality because they were 2 of the most injured offensive lines and 2 of the most injured teams in the National Football League last year. The Jaguars have been very vocal. Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke have said they need to prepare the next man up. That is why you see Trevor taking reps with all of the wide receivers, not just the top 3, so to speak.
And other quarterbacks taking reps with all of the quote-unquote ones, like we saw today.
And that's why the offensive line, they are trying different things. The defensive line, they're trying different things. And so that is when they asked me this morning, like, why did the slide happen? Certainly a non-existent run game, yes. But if that non-existent run game last year was a byproduct of an offensive line that was constantly shuffling in different pieces, that is where it goes back to, hey, was the next guy up ready to step into that role? I think this year they're doing a much better job of ensuring that is the case.
All right, we will get it to the Olympics when we return. Our favorite Olympic storylines, lots of golds, of course, for the United States. We'll be back on a Big Chief Tower Monday on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Cruise to victory lane with 1010XL.
Here they come, checker flag.
This Sunday at Richmond, brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Mia here, and why Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned? Because when it comes to selection, you don't want to have to compromise at all. You want to get it all, and that's exactly what you'll find at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Just listen to this, folks. Over 275 SUVs, over 200 cars, over 100 pickups, over 50 luxury vehicles. That's over 600 vehicles, and they're all in one location. Maybe you're buying your kid's first car, or you're on a tight budget and really need some wheels. Arlington Pre-Owned even has 125 vehicles under $18K. And if you're looking for buying confidence, you found it. Because when you buy from Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, you get 60 days to love it or exchange it. Need a little credit help? Arlington has your back with their Credit for Everyone program to help get you financed. Why Arlington? The better question is, why not? Don't wait. Shop Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today. In person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels. Are you looking for quality tires that won't break the bank? Big Chief has you covered. Right now they're offering 6-month financing with the CFNA card, plus $50 off your next service. With no interest for 6 months, it's the perfect time to get those new tires. Schedule your appointment today at BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to take advantage of this incredible deal. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Sports fans, JJ LaSelva here. When I need to send my bride flowers or a plant for birthdays or anniversaries, I always go with Hume Flowers. After all, they've been the leading florist in these parts for over 75 years. You can always rely on Hume Flowers.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Picking here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
For a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 24th at Daytona, answer this question. Who has the most victories in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Join the fun with XL Primetime, Tuesday, August 6th at Firehouse Subs in San Marco. Get pictures and autographs from Jags players, cheerleaders, and Jackson DeVille. Tuesday, August 6th, 2 to 4 at Firehouse Subs in San Marco.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. Brought to you by USA Park. After week 1 of fall camp for the Gators, head coach Billy Napier took to the podium and spoke on the intense competition they're seeing from this group of guys.
Okay, guys, competition is heating up. And I think we anticipated this training camp being extremely competitive at all positions. The competition for roles on this team, I think it's been intense for 3 days, and it'll continue to be that way. We've worked hard to build this roster. We have more competitive depth, and I think that's proven to be true on offense, defense, and special teams.
Down at 1-1 Financial Ballpark, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp and the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs had their last game canceled yesterday due to inclement weather. The Shrimp will travel to Toledo this week to take on the Mud Hens for a 6-game series starting tomorrow. It's 79 degrees at 1 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels.
Illuminated by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
Long drives for one more.
Taylor Dahl, Mia O'Brien, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. It's always a Big Chief Tire Monday around here. If you're about to take a road trip, make sure your car is ready with 5 locations around town. You can also visit them at bigchieftire.com. My parents, by the way, embarked on their 7-week adventure today. Got out a little bit ahead of the weather.
Wow.
And yeah,
So they're going a bunch of places, I know.
Yes, they're going to several states, but they'll go all the way to Utah and then make their way back home sometime in the near future. We have friends that just completed about a 40-day road trip with their 3 kids. And so, yeah, glad they made it back safely, too. So for all the road trips out there, like I said, if you need your vehicle to be serviced, visit our friends at Big Chief Tire. I don't have a favorite moment of the Olympics over the past few days because I've loved so many of them. I can't tell you how excited I get at different moments. And certainly you all know I love swimming. I've talked about that for a while. You know I love the gymnastics as well. The cycling, I don't know if y'all were watching that live yesterday, but the cycling was so exciting. Kristen Faulkner just started to ride bikes competitively in 2017.
Wow.
And she was towards the front, but certainly not at the front yesterday. And then all of a sudden, she basically got shot out of a cannon, and she ends up winning gold. And the pictures of her lying down with the United States flag were super cool. But probably if I had to pick a favorite moment, it might have been the swimming, one of the 2 swimmings, whether it was the women winning the medley relay, the 4x100 or if it was Bobby Fink winning the 1,500 meter race, having his sisters there, the first time they've ever seen him compete in the Olympics. And of course, he's a Gator too. And of course, I love Ledecky too. I can't pick. Yeah. I just can't pick.
So for me, I'm going to combine 2 things.
Okay.
And it's actually a refrain that I've mentioned now to some of our contemporaries and friends at Jaguars practice the last 2 days. I spoke to it with my parents last night as we were just talking about leadership. And of course, you guys know as a UNF academic coach, I love to nerd out about leadership. Regan Smith's interview after she set an American record on Saturday night. Wins silver, though, because she still lost to McEwen of Australia, who is probably going to go down as the greatest backstroke swimmer of our generation at the very least. And Melissa Stark is interviewing Regan, and she says, you now have, I think it was at the time, because she hadn't won gold as a member of the medley yet, or technically part of the mixed medley as well. And so she's like, you have 8 Olympic medals. Now 7 of them are silver, and the 8th is bronze. Does that sting at all? And she said, I'm going to be honest with you. I just focus on the moment and I'm having fun. My team is amazing. How could you not enjoy this atmosphere? I'm breaking my records. I'm breaking American records. I'm only losing to one person and she's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. If I can't appreciate this moment, then I'm here for the wrong reasons.
I love that.
That was then taken to another step by none other than one Scotty Scheffler on Sunday. Did you guys see Claire Rogers of golf.com?
Yes.
So she posted the picture because I hadn't seen this earlier in the week. So akin to a elementary school child, and RJ, if we could just turn the live stream over back to us, thank you. I want to make sure people see how emphatic I am about Scotty Scheffler, who I once upon a time sat in this very seat and said he didn't move the needle. He moves the needle, folks. Scotty Scheffler, like all the other golfers, akin to a kindergarten, first, second grade, where you hold the sign on the first day of school and it's like, my favorite color, my favorite subject. So one of the lines on this sign that they all were asked to hold and then fill out was my goal for Paris. Rory McIlroy, Shane Lowry, Xander Schauffele, they all wrote win gold. Not Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler's goal the past week and a half has been to have fun. And boy, oh boy, did he have fun shooting a 29 on the back, a 62 on Sunday.
Thank you for beating John Rahm.
He broke down crying, and it was just so beautiful to have reflected upon what Regan Smith said on Saturday, and then to see that literally come to life before our eyes in Scotty Scheffler. And that's not to say Scotty Scheffler didn't want to win gold. He certainly did. But he is always so focused on, I'm here, I'm in the moment, regardless of what happens, I'm blessed to be here. And by just trying to get better, 1% better each day, that's all I need to do. And I think that's part of why he was so emotional at the end, because he was just there because he was excited to watch the men's basketball team, to watch the swimming.
Gymnastics.
He cried watching. He said he cried watching Simone Biles get gold. Like he was truly just there to embrace and be a representative of the United States. And so to hear Scotty say that on the heels of what Regan said, and then Regan winning 2 golds after that, it warmed my heart and it reaffirmed why the Olympics matter, but also how how we need to keep this perspective, whether we are Olympic athletes, radio hosts, or whatever it is that you hooligans out there driving around listening do for your occupation.
To have fun.
You need to have fun with what, if you're not having fun, it's time to go home.
Yeah. It is interesting because when you think about, for example, the Olympic golfers or the basketball team, things like those two, I feel like are a little different because those guys they're in the NBA and they're playing tournaments every single weekend. And so they're training for like those kind of things. So the Olympics is like, and the Olympics, like this is cool. So I love that was Scheffler's response because he every single weekend is in some sort of tournament and plays multiple majors in a year. And in addition, the 4 majors plus Players Championship. So there's so many big moments throughout the year for the golfers. And then obviously the guys that play in the NBA are looking for that championship for their team. And then they also get to compete for their, for the USA or for whatever team, whatever country they are representing. And then you have some of the Olympians who this is their life. Since they were 5 years old, they've been training to go to the Olympics. And so I'm sure that does add a little bit different level when you've been put into a sport when you were 4 and they were like, you're going to be at the Olympics one day. But one of the ones that I thought was really fun, and it was all over social too because of some of the questions of how he won, but the 100 meter when Noah Lyles won, because the toe of the other guy was like over and people didn't know the chest has to go over. So it was like a little bit of a controversy at first. He had his American fingernails painted. That was a big thing.
No Yu-Gi-Oh card yesterday though. He didn't whip out the Yu-Gi-Oh card.
He didn't. But he also, in the beginning, he like sprinted to the line and everyone was like, relax a little bit. Like you have to run right now. And you could tell he was pumped. He was ready to win.
He's the type of guy when you talked about earlier, Taylor, as far as there's guys that are arrogant, there's guys that are confident. He's both.
Oh, yeah.
He's incredibly arrogant.
Lauren, that's a great way to describe it.
He's also incredibly confident.
Yes.
And so I think because of his comments about a year ago about the NBA and how they aren't winning world championships, they're just winning, the NBA championship. It's not a world championship. And of course, NBA players didn't like that because the NBA is the best basketball association in all of the world. And so I think there was a little bit of like, all of a sudden there's a vitriol towards Noah Lyles. And then, yes, he is somebody who, I don't know if y'all were watching live, but in the semifinals, he did not finish in first place, and
he just wanted to qualify.
But he stared down one of the other runners as they crossed the finish line. Again, he didn't come in first. I didn't think he was going to win. I thought the whole time that the Jamaican Krishane Thompson was going to win, just based off of watching the qualifying and then watching the semifinals. And so, yeah, when they finished, obviously watching in the moment, it was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
But yes, when they finally showed you the photo finish, the torso is what matters. And so obviously Noah Lyles knows that, and he has way more experience than the Jamaican Thompson. And then, of course, the fact that the United States finished with the bronze as well was really exciting in curly too. And so it was one of those moments, though, that I feel like if Noah Lyles hadn't won, America wouldn't like him as much. But because he won, it was like, yes, no, we're on your side.
I want to, RJ, can you cue up a round of applause for Lauren Brooks, please? Because that was the most proper straddling the line description of Noah Lyles that I have ever heard. And that's not to say I don't appreciate the greatness at hand. But it does come across, especially since we were just talking about it in the 12 o'clock hour, as a chippy defensive back who, yes, you've been to a Pro Bowl or two, but you haven't been named an All-Pro yet, and you are out here telling me you are the greatest of all time. He hasn't said that yet. I feel like he did say he wants to be the fastest man alive. And I thought that comparing him to Usain Bolt was a bit unfair, considering there was a smaller gap between where Noah Lyles finished yesterday and the 8th place finisher. That was a smaller gap than Usain Bolt's fastest and Noah Lyles. So he's an ocean away from Usain Bolt. So let's take a step back there. Look, we live in an age where the beauty of social media, the beauty of being your authentic self, you can say whatever you want. As Noah Lyles sometimes said some things at a podium that I'm like, that's a little out of pocket. The United States sometimes. Not really sure that then the same guy who's running around beating his chest with the American flag, that really works.
I took that as a political comment.
I was about to say.
It was. It was a political comment.
I feel like that's a large majority of people watching the Olympics right now are like, USA, and then they're like complaining every other.
Correct, exactly. And so that's why I was just like, oh boy. And that's not to say he should shut up and dribble. I don't want him to do that.
Yeah.
But
definitely not.
He's He's an interesting character.
He definitely is.
I would say, and again, I'm not saying you have to fit in a box. Be your authentic self. I've had that conversation way too much in the last week. You need to be your authentic self. I don't care who you are. Now, with that said, comparatively to the Katie Ledecky, Simone Biles, Scotty Scheffler, who perhaps
are more understated,
fit more in this box of like, this is what we want our Olympian to look like.
Yeah.
Not look like, to act like. We want them to carry themselves in a humble fashion. He's not that. And he can live his life, and he can be a champion however he so fits. But yeah,
it's a good thing he won. That's all I have
That's
to say.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. Well done, Lauren.
If he didn't win, then I certainly think that, like I said, the conversation would go
Way
a
different
very
way.
different way.
Yeah.
And I was rooting certainly for him. I just, like I said, I didn't think he was going to win. I'll give you all an example of what I'm like when I watch swimming. So because I swam competitively growing up, there are certain things that you notice that maybe other people don't. And so for me, one of those things is whether it's the butterfly or whether it's the freestyle, the breathing. So I don't know if you were watching live, as obsessed as I am, I watched every second of the swimming live. So when the mixed medley, when we had both the men and the women, and Tori Husk was the anchor.
Yep.
And
I know what you're about to say.
She basically, in swimming, the shorter the distance, the less breathing you can do. The longer the distance, you're allowed to breathe a little bit more. Like Bobby Fink during his 1,500 meters can breathe every single stroke until the very end. But Tori Husk in a 100 meters freestyle, basically you go into that saying, I can't breathe very much.
Yeah.
Right.
You can breathe maybe some on the first lap, but then especially if you're in it to win it towards the end, you got to just put your head down and you can't breathe again. And that poor thing, Tori Husk, who's the young one on the team, she went so hard that she was literally, it was only 100 meters, which is 2 laps.
Yeah.
But she went so hard and didn't breathe for so long on that last lap, I thought she was going to faint.
Did you see her
after.
cheeks?
Yes. Yeah.
Her cheeks were blue. Like her whole face was blue.
Because she had a lack of oxygen, which is honestly, that's what you're trained to do. Like when I swam the butterfly, for instance, you're not supposed to breathe every stroke on butterfly if you're in a shorter event. And it's so difficult because that stroke takes so much out of you.
Right.
So when I watch it, I'm literally yelling at the TV, stop breathing, don't breathe. Or I'll yell, if it's a longer one, I'll yell like to Bobby Fink, for example, you need to breathe on the other side, because he was on one length, he could see his competition, the second guy, but he always breathed to his right. So when he would flip turn, then he would not be able to see the Italian guy who was coming in second. And I was like, breathe to the other side. He's coming for you.
That's why I was very happy for Tori Husk last night in the women, or yesterday afternoon in the women's medley, where she's
relax.
like, I had a big enough lead where like I knew the world record was in sight, but I didn't have to like kill myself like I did on Saturday, where I literally had to stop breathing. Which also I thought that 4x1 performance by the women last night was
it was badass.
Again, it was no Ledecky, and Ledecky, of course, is the captain.
Yeah, but she's also more of the long distance swimmer. She's not the sprinter.
Right, and she's the captain, so she's a big reason why so many of these young women have gotten to this point where they are. But I think it was such a representative of where swimming in the United States is, right? Because Tori Husk is the young one. Gretchen Walsh is on the come up. Lily King, this is her last Olympics. And so it speaks to this crazy idea of, well, yes, Katie Ledecky is 27. I would think she'll swim at the LA Games.
She said she's going to try.
She's going to try.
Yeah.
But there's still so much talent in the pipeline that it's just, it's insane to wrap your head around.
Especially. I will say, so Bobby Fink won gold at the 1,500 meter, the last Olympics in Tokyo. Yeah. And so all the pressure was on him to win again. And what's so cool is the relationship between Ledecky and Fink. Obviously, they both train in Gainesville under Anthony Nesty, who's there in Paris. And watching him, Nesty, the coach, get so emotional after Fink won gold yesterday, the only individual gold that the United States had in men's swimming in this Olympics. And it was the worst performance by the USA in men's swimming since 1956. Oh. But overall, if you watched a lot of the races, they were so close. They just got edged out. And certainly, I was really happy for Caleb Dressel when it comes to that.
Maybe if I would breathe better.
They might need me to come help train.
I was going to pivot to Caleb, which also a shout out to Ryan Murphy. Round of applause. Another, of course, Jacksonville area native out of Ponte Vedra Beach, and of course the Bulls School. But Caleb in particular, look, it wasn't the weekend. No. It wasn't the week he wanted. But I do think that the profile that NBC did of him, the fact that he took 9 months off, almost a year off in the last 3 years. Oh, and by the way, during that time frame also had welcomed his son, and so was going through the trials and tribulations of being a first-time dad. I do think we need to give him some grace. It was great to see him involved at the very end. It wasn't like he packed his, book bags up and left.
After being so emotional.
Right. He did not pack his book bags up and take his ball and leave. he still finished it out, and I'm glad he had the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, me too. And like you said, those two guys represent Jacksonville really well, or Duval County, I should say, or Clay County for Dressel. But yeah, I can't get enough. I'm sad that they're coming to a close this week, that there's no more swimming. I was so sad last night when that event ended. But I will say, Mia, the person who makes parenting look so incredibly easy, first-time parenting, Meredith and Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, my God. They bring that kid everywhere.
Bennett
Well, they're just having fun.
He's going to be like a world traveler.
He already is.
I support people bringing their infant children places. I think I've told you guys a story. One of my childhood best friends, their daughter would have been, what was Kaylee? She would have been like barely 6 months, and they're Giants fans, but they brought her to the Jags-Giants game 2 years ago. This kid goes everywhere, though. They take her to restaurants. They take her on flights. They took her to Ireland. Like, they take her everywhere. And I'm like, you know what? She's going to be so adaptable then, and even at, the terrible twos, so to speak, which she's in right now. I feel like part of why she can adjust and she doesn't panic is because they take her everywhere. So listen, Bennett Scheffler,
yes,
you could take him on a 24-hour flight, and that kid's going to be ready for it.
He's going to have a full passport. That is for sure. All right, when we come back, Taylor has a tangent. We also have the Chick-fil-A giveaway. Keep it right here on a Big Chief Tire Monday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
This hour of Helmets and Heels is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update brought to you by
USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. Simone Biles becomes the first U.S. gymnast with 6 gold medals. She wins the individual all-around for the second time after pulling out of the final in Tokyo.
3 years ago, I never thought I'd step foot on a gymnastics floor again just because of everything that had happened. But at the end of the day, it is crazy that I am in the conversation of greatest of all athletes because I just still think I'm Simone Biles from Spring, Texas that loves to flip.
At 27, Biles is the oldest woman to win the all-around since 1952. Suni Lee takes the bronze. In the pool, Katie Ledecky gets the silver as part of the 200-meter freestyle relay, her 13th Olympic medal, a record for American women. And 57 straight Olympic wins for the U.S. women's basketball team to lock up a spot in the quarterfinals. With this Summer Games update, I'm Brad Heller, Westwood One Sports.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not a rate based on Terry who keeps and makes the car behind them. Oh no, they're about to. Save with DriveWise and the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey Jacksonville, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Are you looking for an easy way to feed your friends and family this summer? Let your local Chick-fil-A restaurant cater your next gathering. Choose from a variety of trays, including Chick-fil-A nugget trays, mac and cheese, and of course, gallons of Chick-fil-A tea and lemonade, perfect for a get-together of any size. Place an order through the Chick-fil-A app, online, or by calling ahead and pick it up at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant or get it delivered directly to your door. Enjoy more of the summer season with your loved ones when you take cooking off your plate with Chick-fil-A. See restaurant for details.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and there's nothing quite like the ease and breeze of First Coast summers. Unless, that is, you have a clogged drain or your hot water heater doesn't work. But that's where the experts at Fenwick Home Services have you covered. Fenwick offers 24/7 same-day service and can fix any plumbing problem you have. With free same-day estimates and guaranteed repairs, the pros at Fenwick Home Services get the job done right and get it done right the first time. You can also save on future emergencies with $50 off any repair. Click it or call day or night. FenwickHomeservices.com.
Mia here, and we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino? Canceled because real life came calling. The good news? MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your home. The Live Casino is so easy to use, folks. Instead of pressing Sportsbook at the top, upper left top of mybookie.ag, click Live Casino instead. You'll find live dealers, yes, live dealers ready to deal or spin, just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience where the action is in your hands. And yes, you don't even need to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL and a revamped loyalty program ensuring a host of exclusive VIP perks. Sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
Hey, Jacksonville Koozies, it's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida, Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals, dine in with beer and wine, and delivery at salvatores.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Do it with me, baby. Salvatores.com.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Hi, I'm David Lane, your average everyday Joe. I'm 5 months out of my back surgery with Southeast Orthopedic, and I'm doing great. Thanks to Dr. Herford and his staff at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Get closer to nature.
Trying to get close to these bucks out here.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz. The Nimnicht Outdoor Show. Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning, 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle. With APRs in the 5s, you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
1010XL breaks down training camp all day. Listen for camp news with analysis and insight from the practice feed.
Everything counts!
1010XL's training camp coverage is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-01 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Light up your lunch with Helmets and Heels.
Presented by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
On 1010XL.
Me O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Always a Big Chief Tire Monday around here. All right, ladies. The Olympics, Jaguars, nothing else going on in the world, right?
The Yankees are alive.
Cubs are too. They just took 3-4 against the Cardinals.
The Rays took 2 of 3 against the
Let's
Astros.
go.
So I guess everybody's baseball team is doing well. All right, now Taylor Dahl has a tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
This is going back to a conversation that we've had a lot this offseason and how I've been very pro or at least positive about the offensive changes when it comes to the weapons this offseason, and how I do think that the Jags did exactly what they needed to do in finding the certain pieces that fit this offense of what didn't work last year. And we talked about the run game earlier. This is strictly about just the receiving group. Was looking at some different numbers between different guys in the league, and this stood out to me because a few things. Number one, it's on the lowest contested target rate on deep passes since 2017. So when you first go, you're kind of like, hold on, is that a negative thing? But no, more so, meaning these guys are the ones that are creating separation. They have the open target rate when it comes to deep throws down the field. And so this is there's 6, but there is a T6. So the number 1 in the league is Travis Kelce. I feel like how many times are we watching a Chiefs game and you're like, nobody's covering Kelce's just in the middle of the field wide open. Cooper Kupp behind him, Marquise Brown behind him, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, and then T6 is both Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk. So to me, this number popped out because number 1, it's a little interesting how there's now 3 new sets. Like 3 different teams have 2 of these guys, and it's new this year because Marquise Brown, he's on the Chiefs now. So Marquise Brown and Travis Kelce both on this list. And then Jerry Jeudy also went to the Browns. So Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper are both on this list. And then Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis. So like each 3 of the teams made a move this offseason to add somebody else that is going to help in that separation getting open downfield. And so I just think it's so beneficial because we talk about the strengths of Christian Kirk, and we know he's really good when it comes to being that slot receiver guy. But it also shows that if you need him to get downfield and create separation and get open, he's able to do that. The positive thing, I think, in what the Jags did this offseason is now Christian Kirk can be kind of where his biggest strengths are. And you have a guy in Gabe Davis who is also right there along the same lines when it comes to being able to be open downfield. Now, another interesting aspect was the addition of Brian Thomas Jr. And so when you go back and you read some of the stuff on Brian Thomas Jr., so he was used primarily as a deep threat. We all know that. He registered a 13.9-yard average target depth, with his 25.3% of his total targets coming from 20-plus yards downfield. Thomas was dominant on those deep balls, hauling in 15 of the 22 for 670 yards and 12 touchdowns. The catches, yards, and touchdowns were all top 3 marks in the nation when it comes to that part of the field. His 6 grabs of 40-plus yards ranked 6th. Thomas was one of 24 wide receivers to score 99.9 PFF receiving grade on targets on 20-plus. The other aspect of that is he was not good on the shorter stuff. It said not nearly impressive in short and immediate routes. In fact, Thomas averaged just 1.18 yards per route on targets of less than 20 yards. Neighbors, by comparison, had a 2.34, so almost double per route on those. Thomas's 2.61 yards per route on the season trailed Neighbors 3.64, but ranked 36th among 286. So
do you have the full list, by the way? Because I do think
I don't. I'll try to find
only
it though.
Because I know there's a couple lists similar to this.
Yeah.
That there's someone else in that top 36 who's also a rookie wide receiver for the Jaguars, and that's Joshua Cephas.
Yeah. And I do feel like I remembered he was on the list when I saw it as a full. But to me, more so, I feel like we talked earlier on like Calvin Ridley and where the issues came with Calvin and where the issues maybe were with Zay Jones. But when you look at, I think, those starting 3 and you add in an Evan Ingram, I think the Jags have players that can be successful in all parts of the field, and that's in short, that's in that mid-range, that's deep balls, that's outside the hash marks, in the middle of the field, which is positive because I just don't feel like that was something they had last season.
Yeah, certainly separation is going to be key when it comes to what the Jaguars offense has seen over the last 11 practices. It is really tight coverage. And so that's, I think, beneficial to them now that they're going to move forward to play the Chiefs, certainly in the preseason Saturday, but especially week 1 against the Dolphins is, can your receivers, can the tight ends create enough separation to not have to have Trevor force the ball into some really tight windows?
And that's actually something Elijah Cooks talked about when he met with Rick Ballou last week, and that's available on our 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. He specifically said, we didn't see this type of coverage in practice. And in turn, whether that's short intermediate routes, which I want to go back to that here in just a second, Taylor, because I think that's an interesting stat for Brian Thomas Jr., whether it's the short over the middle stuff, whether it's those deep balls downfield, it doesn't matter. If they're not giving you an inch comparatively to playing a yard off a year ago, that is a significant change in how this team practices.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, Mia, because I remember that first week when there was the full-blown panic, and you came on here and you were like, look, a lot of it was not Trevor, it was the receivers not getting separation.
Right.
But in that same breath, like, great, because that means the DBs are doing their job, and they're being able to stay on top of these wide receivers. But in the same breath, you do have two guys who have historically been really good at creating that separation.
And I know we did this. You dove deeper with the stat for BTJ. Does it say, is that just on routes of 20-plus yards for Gabe and Christian?
These ones are, yes. So these are just strictly deep passes.
So that is what were those first 4 days of practice? So much stuff that was compressed. Because where did the Jaguars struggle last year? When the field was compressed. And again, I wish, number one, because of the media reporting policy, we also can't say this. And even if we did, I wouldn't be able to tell you because there just haven't been. They've specifically said we need to work on this stuff first. We can't be airing at 20-plus yards down the field. Number one,
we have the guys that can do
number
that.
Number one, because we want to build to it. And number two, because health-wise, we don't want to be sending guys out there and, putting them, saying okay, you've literally been running for a day. Now you're going to go full speed 40 yards downfield. Press Taylor said that yesterday. That's just not smart coaching. But then number two, because clearly there was a deficiency last year, not just here with the 2023 Jaguars, but even with Brian Thomas Jr. As they onboard him and develop him.
And guess what the defense knows in those first few days of training camp? That
What
the
they're
Jaguars
working
are
on.
not going to throw the ball deep. And so therefore they know that it's already that shorter window, that shorter field. So the defense knows they don't have to protect deep. They know that ball's not going there. So that's where it definitely skews it towards the defense. But again, we've seen some really nice throws from Trevor over the last few days as well. All right, when we return, we will keep it on the Jaguars. One more segment here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
And I also want to note that we have the first coaches poll of the 2024 college football season. We'll do that as well up ahead on the Superstation.
Helmets and Heels. This hour is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers.
Get your athletes game day ready with Injury Care Centers. Sports physicals are only $15 to kick off the upcoming season. Their $69 Peak Performance Physical identifies strengths and weaknesses in muscles and body mechanics, tapping into the power of AI technology. Help your athlete run faster, throw harder, and jump higher. Elevate their game from the inside out. Call today, 904-783-0008. That's 904-783-0008.
The 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris feature incredible athletes and is the third time the Olympics will be held in Paris. If you're planning to attend, USAPark.net Airport Parking salutes your support of our American athletes. So no matter where you're going, whether you're traveling to the Olympics to support our athletes or just visiting Grandma, remember to park at USAPark.net.
At Hodges Mazda, what Mazda moves you? Find out. Lauren Brooks here. Come test drive the Mazda CX-90, engineered to fit your lifestyle. Take advantage of 1.9% APR for up to 72 months on a 2024 Mazda CX-90. That's the largest three-row SUV that Mazda offers. The professional non-commissioned sales team always puts your best interests first, and you'll get 2 years free maintenance. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at HodgesMazda.com to discover the Hodges Mazda difference. See dealer for details. Terms and fees for qualified applicants expire September 3rd, 2024.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
On the field, he brought the boom.
I'll always be a linebacker at heart.
He brings that attitude to the microphone.
I'm Jaguars Today's middle linebacker, Kyle McManus.
Friday from 10 to noon. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Vegas, baby. This is Taylor Dahl from Helmets and Heels, and we're sending one lucky listener to Circa Resort and Casino this December. Win a free 3-night stay with $200 food and beverage credit, plus a daybed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive 143-foot screen at Circa. You'll huddle up with the Heels at the Overhang Bar for our pregame tailgates on Friday with drink specials and giveaways. For a chance to win this all-in package to Circa with Helmets and Heels, enter at 1010xl.com/Vegas.
And if you've already booked your flight to Vegas for the big game and are still searching for accommodations, Circa Resort and Casino has a special rate just for Jacksonville fans. Mia here, and for just $500, get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 in food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. The all-in package is only available till August 30th, so act now. Book and join the Heels in Vegas. Visit CircleLasVegas.com today.
This is Hayes Carlion for Skylife Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Skylife Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Skylife Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with Awaken 180. Between increased flexibility, strength, and endurance, breaking 100 or 90 or even 80 could be just 40 pounds away. Get there this summer with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
For a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 24th at Daytona, answer this question. Who has the most victories in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids, healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Head coach Doug Peterson addressed the media this morning on day 11 of training camp on how he grades the new rookies compared to the free agents by putting them in the right positions to be evaluated.
It's different for both groups, obviously. Veterans know what training camp is all about and kind of how to navigate the turbulence of camp a little bit, the highs and lows. Young guys are kind of figuring it out every single day from that standpoint, but I think from the X's and O's, it's still a matter of teaching and as coaches, just putting them in positions to show us what they know mentally with schemes and all that.
Sound courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
My takeaway is, as much as Trent Baalke has done a tremendous job of drafting, of signing, of bringing in guys of high character, it's okay if the competitive juices flow a little bit. Thank you, Gabe Davis, for reminding us. Christian Kirk, he has that that dog in him.
Also, props to Christian Kirk, too, for just, defending your guy no matter what.
And that's what Gabe said.
Yeah.
Gabe was like, look, I couldn't defend myself. And, that, as much as, everyone's going to blow this up. Oh, my God, there was a fight.
He was like, I was on the ground. I couldn't do anything.
Right. As much as people want to blow this up and they love to talk about fights at camp, I asked Gabe about it after practice. Symbolically, that's a huge statement that within seconds, your fellow wide receiver, someone who you just started playing with a few months ago said, nah, not today.
Yeah.
I just recommend anytime a player goes into a fight, make sure they put their helmet on first.
Yeah.
Just for safety purposes.
That part wasn't so great.
Well, we do always mock the guys, though, that, punch somebody with, I'm like, well, why'd you just punch a helmet?
Yeah, you got to get him more in that torso area. Yeah, my takeaway, I said this to Jaguars today during the handoff. I'll be surprised if this Jaguars defense isn't really good.
Yeah.
From what we've seen so far, they are aggressive. They know where they're supposed to be. You don't hear a lot of coaches saying, oh, you lined up incorrectly or anything like that. They coach them hard for sure. But this defense seems to be in the right place at the right time. They're already ball hawks. We saw Andre Sisco have 3 picks today of each Jaguars quarterback. And so, like I said, I'll be surprised if this defense isn't really good.
Yeah, and going off of that, just because something that a lot of people were talking about over the weekend, and I think something that we've all on this show been very adamant about being a big part of this season, and that's Devon Hamilton. I think that what we've been able to see and healthy Devon Hamilton and how good he is at getting to the quarterback and how good he is at so many things, but also I think when he's healthy, it just looks it's a whole tier, a whole level up in that tier rankings of where Devon Hamilton sits in the league. So I'm super excited to have, to your point, Lauren, just the defense in general and how they look under Ryan Nielsen, but certain guys like a Devon Hamilton who can make such an impact and just wasn't able to last year, unfortunately, because of all of the circumstances.
I know we said we want to get you guys the very latest, the top 25 first coaches poll of 2024. But as we cool down and we put a bow on today's program, ladies, we also spent a good amount of time discussing the Olympics. RJ, cue up the music. Apparently, and I don't know who Chill_Jill Marie is, so someone do that investigative work for me on Instagram. This is what she just posted that many believe is the reason Sha'Carri Richardson was off her game in the 100-meter women's race. And Shelly, the Jamaican sprinter who won gold twice already, pulled out suddenly of the 100-meter race. The night before the race, security officials changed the rules that athletes can only enter on team buses into the stadium. Problem is, Shelly and Sha'Carri did not stay in the Olympic Village with the others and came to the gate in private transportation. They denied entry. They were forced to walk an hour to the front gates and then had to walk all the way back to where the athletes warm up. Essentially, they both missed warm-ups over a rule change that they were not notified of. Shelly rightfully pulled out because that would affect her performance. Sha'Carri stayed because she was not about to miss another Olympics.
This sounds like the terrible logistics that we had in Louisville when there was that accident and then
with Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, with Scotty Scheffler. I mean, I think people forget to this point that he was arrested several months ago. It's obviously he's won so many tournaments since then. He just won the Olympic gold. So it's easy to forget, but it is wild that was earlier this year that something like that happened. That's certainly unfortunate if the report is accurate.
I feel like she could have sprinted and been there very fast.
But certainly then she wouldn't have done well in the 100-meter for sure. Speaking of college football, before we get to the coaches poll, I'm sure y'all saw this over the weekend. At first, it was reported that Montrell Johnson, the Florida running back, had suffered a major knee injury, or at least a major injury, and no one knew exactly what was happening. And then as it comes out then that he suffered a minor knee injury, did have an arthroscopic surgery to clean that up, and that he is week to week. And we'll talk to Nick De La Torre tomorrow to get more information on how Florida looks overall, but also the situation with Montrell Johnson. I told you all after going to the spring game in Gainesville that Jaden Baugh is going to be really good for this team. Treyon Webb, certainly from the First Coast, also on the Florida team. But as far as the Gators running backs, I'm not as concerned because I got to see what Jaden Baugh can do. Obviously, you'd feel a heck of a lot better if Trevor Etienne was still in Gainesville, but he took his talents to Athens. And speaking of Athens, Mia, Georgia, #1 on the coaches poll.
I know.
No surprise there.
You're so surprised. Florida also not in the coaches poll. They did receive votes. They got
probably from Billy Napier.
They got 11 votes in the coaches poll.
Maybe
baby.
Mario Cristobal is voting for Florida too because he wants to be
Mario
week
Cristobal's Miami team is in the first coaches poll of 2024, folks. They come in at number 19. Here's
People
the whole
love Cam
list.
Ward.
Georgia at 1, Ohio State at 2, Oregon and Dylan Gabriel at 3. Texas at 4, Alabama at 5, Ole Miss at 6, Notre Dame 7, Michigan 8, Penn State 9, Florida State 10. Any surprises in that top 10 before I reveal some of the other names in the top 25?
How the heck is Penn State above Florida State?
Because people are so high on Drew Aller.
Yeah, I don't care.
He's going to be one of those quarterbacks that everyone's going to talk about, like Jake Locker once upon a time, how this could be the year. He has all the tools. And unfortunately, it just never comes.
Yeah, I don't care who the quarterback is at Penn State. They always are a 7-5, 8-4 football team. And Florida State last year went 13-0. And of course, yes, lost the bowl game, but I really don't even count that after the situation that occurred when they were kicked out of the college football playoff or not at least voted into it. Yeah, other than that, I'm maybe a little surprised that they've got Texas below Oregon because, of course, Texas is returning its quarterback in Quinn Ewers. Dylan Gabriel is new. They're at Oregon with Dan Lanning as the head coach, but certainly those are all really good football teams. I think some people would be surprised that Ohio State's not #1, but I think that does come down to the quarterback because Ohio State is loaded everywhere, maybe other than quarterback.
Even though people loved him 5 minutes ago. But now, as we poke holes at the Buckeyes, now Will Howard is just a guy.
Yeah. And I know Mia and I, when you were out, Lauren, we did our ranking, like quarterback rankings, and I had Dylan Gabriel above Quinn Ewers. So to me, I feel like it makes sense because it's bottom line the quarterback. Even returning or not, a lot of people are super high on what Gabriel can look like at Oregon.
Yeah, so very high reviews for both players coming out of the Manning Passing Academy, but at the same time, I mean, it speaks, and it's nothing against Steve Sarkisian, by the way. I think it just speaks to this infatuation we currently have with Dan Lanning and what he was able to do with resurrecting Bo Nix's career. That's where I think a lot of the Dylan Gabriel hype comes into play. The remaining teams in the top 25 of this first coaches poll: at number 11, Mizzou; at 12, LSU; Utah at 13, little old Clemson at 14, Tennessee, Oklahoma, K-State, OK State, Miami at 19, Texas A&M, and new head coach Mike Elko at 20. Any surprises before I reveal the final 5 teams to make this first coaches poll?
I mean, I think that's high for A&M. There's a lot of turnover there, but people love Elko as far as what he was able to do at Duke. So, and they like Connor Wegman as well, but I'd be surprised if they're a top 20 team this season, maybe in the future.
I heard Denny talking a ton about Connor Wegman, how high he is on him. I think it was Friday, actually. He went in depth on how much he likes and how good he thinks he'll be pretty much right away.
The 2 teams that I think are very interesting, and I think they're appropriately slotted, even though it might be controversial. Mizzou at 11, yes, they're living off of a double-digit win season from a year ago. They bring a lot of factors back. Maybe not on the defensive side of the ball. They lose Darius Robinson. They lose Enos Rakestraw. You go Chris Abrams-Drain. You go down the
entire
line.
secondary almost.
Yes. But offensively, they bring the all-important quarterback position back, and they arguably bring back the best wide receiver in football in Luther Burden. So that's where I think a lot of people are high on the Tigers. I also think Oklahoma at 16, that, yes, I understand they lost Dylan Gabriel. That's a group, though, that I would like to think has been building for some time. Third year of a new coaching regime, that there might be some continuity there, but I'm sure that will be one that will be criticized. The remaining teams in this first coaches poll: Arizona, also new head coach at 21.
They like that quarterback too.
NC State at 22. Lincoln Riley, baby, at 23. The Fighting Trojans. Kansas at 24. And of course, The Iowa Hawkeyes at number 25. Our Lord and Savior, Cade McNamara, has returned to save us all, folks. It's okay. Tim Lester, the former head coach at Western Michigan, going to get Iowa to complete a forward pass in 2024.
By the way, two things. One, Taylor, I'm deeply offended. It was you and I that did the quarterback rankings when Mia was out.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, just kidding. But two, the other.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. The other Olympic moment, I totally forgot to mention, and I'm glad I just saw a highlight. We didn't even get to it. The women's soccer team on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
It was during Jags practice, but thankfully I have a lot of people who know how much I care about it, so they were texting me updates throughout the game. And so around the 105th minute is when Trinity Rodman, with her non-dominant left foot, just shot a laser into the goal. And so the United States now will play tomorrow at noon. So, Taylor, I hope you've got your entire show planned for tomorrow. I'll be watching the women's soccer game taking on Germany, a rematch, because, of course, the United States beat Germany 4-1 last weekend.
The good news is we will have Jaguars rookie corner Trey Prince on the program tomorrow. That interview is from today. Since the Jaguars have an off day tomorrow, we also will have Nick De La Torre of On3.com, of course, covering all things Gators. So I think we should be able to create some opportunities for Lauren to multitask. Since we are on the discussion of the quarterbacks, so many of them represented in this first coaches poll. Dylan Gabriel, currently the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman on mybookie.ag at plus 690.
Silly.
Carson Beck close behind at plus 820. Quinn Ewers plus 970. Here's where it gets interesting, ladies. We have some movement. Jalen Milroe, the fourth best odds at plus 1375. Jackson Dart plus 1425. And the aforementioned just a guy, as Hef noted on the MyBookie Digital Studio chat line, Will Howard plus 1475, the sixth best odds.
Interesting. You'd think with as much love as a guy like Cam Ward gets that he would be a little bit higher on those odds, especially ahead of a guy like Will Howard. But maybe they trust, like I said, the depth around, certainly the weapons
Some of the surrounding factors,
yeah. Will Howard versus what Miami has in Cam Ward.
Cam Ward, the ninth best odds at plus 2,000. For me.
And where's Graham Mertz?
Graham Mertz. I'll find him in just a second.
Hold on, we got to scroll.
I was going to tell you, this isn't my MyBookie midweek picks just yet, but I think some good money could be made. Eighth best odds, Garrett Nussmeier, plus 1925. Not saying you'd have back-to-back Tiger quarterbacks winning the Heisman Trophy, but I think the LSU contingent is going to be a surprise for many with how they don't rebuild, they reload in 2024.
Yeah, we'll certainly find out. And then FSU is scheduled to come have two practices later this week at UNF. Obviously, the weather was certainly a question mark for Mike Norvell and his staff, but I would expect as the Tropical Storm Debbie moves out of this area, I would expect that FSU will head over on I-10 and come practice there on Thursday and Friday.
I did speak with a representative from Florida State this morning.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Sounds like all systems are a go. They will be here. So we will have a contingent out there from 10:10 to provide you the very latest. And before we say hello to XL Primetime, Graham Mertz, plus 15,000 to win the Heisman. Luther Burden has better odds. Travion Henderson, better odds. Trevor Etienne, better odds.
Hey.
On that note...
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
Joe, did you get a pick today?
No, I should have, though. There was a couple of them that Mac Jones threw in our direction that I probably could have picked off, but he threw one. The one pick to Andre Sisco, no one was around. Look, Matt's fun, but he's not. He is a backup. That's what he is in the National Football League. That is flat out what he is right now.
Absolutely. It seems like we're not going to be able to get to use the phrase batten down the hatches as much as we like to normally when hurricanes are swirling, but everything good in your neck of the woods as far as flooding?
Yeah, thankfully we live on high ground, which is great. We're like a half mile off the beach, but we're great. But I did go over to Roselle today, and there's a lot of water over there.
Yeah,
my Bold City boys,
certain areas, whether it's St. Augustine or Jacksonville, certainly low-lying, and so they certainly tend to flood. Did you hear the odds for Graham Mertz to win Heisman?
Yeah, 15,000. Respect for 15.
I think we can pull some money together for this.
By the way, Trevor Etienne will play a bunch as the starter for the running back for the Georgia Bulldogs. He'll get plenty of play, but Carson's going to steal all those odds. Graham Mertz if they start out 4-0, which I'm predicting they will, then he'll have a chance to get some Heisman hype. It won't last long, but we'll go for that.
Joe, since we haven't actually
4-0.
haven't shared a desk together
4-0.
in quite some time, so we haven't actually been on a radio program together since I met Graham Mertz, and I'm all in. We actually had Cole Thompson of SEC Unfiltered on here, and he
is fully on the bandwagon of
Yeah,
Graham
a
Mertz
week before I left for Dallas and SEC Media Days, Cole was on the line with Taylor and I, and he's like, he's mashed potatoes. You don't love him, but he's good. He's just kind of there. And then I met Graham Mertz. Yeah. I want him to be good badly.
He has changed so
Sharp
many
cat.
people's
Sharp cat.
So many people's opinions from this time a year ago to where they are right now. The fact that he plays tough or plays hurt, either way you want to describe it. The fact that he's in the weight room.
The fact that he loves avocado toast.
Yeah, and doing the big squats, and they're all going crazy. Anyway, he looks like he is a smart, tough guy that will help the football team. I don't know how good he's going to be or how good they're going to be, but yeah, he's won a lot of people over.
Hey, 4-0 would be a fantastic start. What do you have coming up on the show today?
Well, we'll definitely look back. The Olympics has been fun. I really have enjoyed it. Even our little grandbabies, they're just watching and loving all the either women's gymnastics or swimming or track and field or whatever. So between
Are they wanting to do flips yet?
Yeah, they want to do anything they possibly can. So they're loving it. So that actually was a different layer of the Olympics for me, which I thought was really cool. So anyway, we'll talk about that. Scotty Scheffler's 62 was something else yesterday. And then, of course, get into everything that's going on with training camp and then some fall practice for the college boys we'll definitely dig into.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Joe.
All right, guys.
That's going to do it for us. For Mia O'Brien, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. XL Primetime comes up next.
These days, these boots